What's up, everybody? Trainer Steve checking in on this momentous Momentum Morning, the Sunday edition, 8 a.m. here on the West Coast. And if you're with me from the East Coast, 11 a.m.? Let's do the math. All right, so we're going to get into our habit roll call, but first we'll let you know why we're here. It's for momentum. That means getting inertia on your day so that your mind starts to get going, so that you subconsciously make better habits throughout the rest of the day without having to force yourself to do it. And that's why we're here. Today we're going to do the habit roll call, making sure everybody's getting checked in for their habits. But first we're going to cover real quickly a little bit about diets and planning for diets. And I'm going to do that today using a tool that I like for many creative endeavors, and it's called a mind map. So we're going to move on over to the mind map here. Boom! I use a mind map. The site that I use is called mindmapmaker.org, app.mindmapmaker.org. I'm sure there's a ton out there, but number one thing for diets, most people probably neglect and don't do, is by starting on paper and making a real plan. Actually sitting down and calling, hey, I'm going to write down diet plan, and that's where I'm starting, right? Most people don't start with that. Oops. Okay, so here we have carbs, fats, proteins. Do you know what the ratios of those are? Do you know what the ideal amounts of those are? If you've never heard of those or don't really know, to me, if a person is trying to succeed in diet, if you look at the patterns amongst the most successful, whether it's in bodybuilding or CrossFit or figure competitors or people who are just trying to drop weight like in sports and athletics, the number one commonality amongst all of these people when it comes to diet is their macros, and then learning how to adjust those macros as they go. So if you don't really know how to identify, let's say if you're looking at a plate at dinner and you're looking at that plate at dinner, and if you don't know how to identify the difference between the proteins, the carbs, and the fats on the plate, and you don't have a general idea of those ratios in your head of what those things are on that plate, it would be best to learn what those things are. I'm not going to educate you guys on those things here because it seems kind of advanced. I want you to just kind of figure that out on your own. I can build it later, but if we're interested. The next one that we're looking at off of macros, gosh, I wish I knew how to add without using the shortcut key. Here we go, add child, there we go, got it. After macros, we want to look at, that I think a lot of people don't look at when it comes to diet, is how much sugar they're intaking. So we're looking at total sugar in your diet when you're sitting down with that plan. We have somebody in the group, Evelyn Price, who's trying to stay under, which we recommend with our food, especially when we have sugar addictions and cravings, is to try to stay below about 6 to 10 grams per meal of sugar. So that's sugar, not carbohydrate, right? So in that, it's a pretty reasonable amount. You'll see that a lot of your foods in boxes and stuff have a lot of sugar. So that is something we want to take a look at. But having these things on paper make it easier for us to see what stays as important. I say the next thing on diet plan breakdown that's probably neglected that most people don't think about is, what am I eating before bed? How late am I staying up? And then how much sleep am I getting? But then going at an advanced level from that, it's, actually tracking these things and taking time for like a couple of weeks as an experiment to see how I'm doing this on paper, instead of just putting it in your head like this. Actually sit down and be like, how many hours did I sleep? Right? And if you did that for like 7 days in a row, then you would probably start to notice, oh, when I'm not sleeping as well, these cravings are coming in, and I'm having a harder time staying at this level of sugar, and I'm having a harder time keeping to the macros that I want. And you'll start to learn corollaries between these things in your diet. The next big factor, I would say, I don't even want to overwhelm you guys, so I would just go with this, the protein. When I see with most of the clients I start with, whether it's male or female, I tend to have a harder time getting them to get more protein in their diet. But every single time, I swear without fail, more protein. Let's just make it simple, very simple and obvious for us here. More protein. I just keep reiterating that and banging that out. But if you have this on paper, again, in front of you, you're going to be tracking day by day by day by day, and that's going to hold you accountable. So here you actually want to take a look at the total number of grams of protein you're getting. I am not a scientist about how much protein you get in. What I look for is that if you have a body weight of, let's say you're a 180-pound person, then I want you to get like at least 120, 140, something like that. Usually it's like, to me, it's just like 40 grams, 20 grams less than what you weigh. That's, to me, it's like maybe what you would want to get in, maybe 60 grams. At the beginning, especially when you're trying to make a shift in your body, there are other ways to do things. You can try going keto and eating less protein and stuff like that. But from my experience, people who up their protein first in a diet plan can do better upping it first and then dialing it back later if they want. So that's another thought about the diet plan breakdown. And then the last thing before I start boring everybody here, making everybody fall asleep, is the new environment. And we're not talking about hybrid cars. We're talking about where do you go in your environment, and then actually write down on paper the top 5 places you inhabit. Is that a word? Okay, good. It is a word. So then you would think about things like work, right? Your car, your bedroom, your living room, office, something like that, right? So then you take those 5 places and then start to break down, well, what am I eating in those 5 places more commonly than those other things? And then you start looking at your environments and look at where you're making mistakes and where you're doing well. And then you can start to track those things and say, okay, well, if it's in the bedroom at night that I'm having too many snacks, too many almonds, too many nuts or something like that, then I know that I need to do something with that environment. And it's not necessarily me, I'm a bad person, I'm bad at dieting, I'm so horrible. It's like, oh, now we've realized it's isolated to that small little environment where I'm slipping. And it's always a little trigger that you're not realizing that's causing you to eat the things you don't even want to eat, like food sitting on the table at home, sitting right in front of your eyes for everybody to want to eat. It's pretty foolish to have food sitting out that's bad for you on the kitchen table if you're trying to make a good diet plan, that's for sure. I feel like I'm being a little preachy on this one. I don't mean to be preachy. What I mean to do is just to show you guys we really want to get things down on paper and start to look at things at a holistic approach, making a circle around the diet, not just going diet, okay, I'm going to go follow the Jenny Craig program and that's it. We need to look at these bigger components, looking at the sleep, looking at the environments that you go of how you make your choices, the systems you have for how you choose what you eat, the macros, how many protein grams you're getting, watching your sugar. All of those things, they're components that go around, and there are so many more. But the main message I want to take away from this is that we're sitting down for a moment and actually writing down on paper diet plan, and then have a circle around it and start webbing out different thoughts and ideas. It doesn't even have to be this. It could just be like a brainstorm web where you just go thoughts and ideas about my diet. Where do I go wrong? Where do I go really well? How could I do better? Where do I want to change? What things do I need to learn? Who do I need to talk to? What questions do I need to ask? Those kind of things I think are really very useful to write down in a computer web like this and actually get it on paper instead of just trying to rely on leaving it up here. That's the difference between people who stick to it and are quick to quit.
You gotta stick to it to get to it.
The world famous habit roll call.